Hey everyone, my name is Kabi, and today I'm going to show you an interesting match where we'll be able to see the light facing the dark, and as a light player in the bottom right corner appeared Dominator, featuring the blue color, and as the red dark player there will be the Ale, on the account called Ale Test, because initially it was a Twins account, but then he made it the main one, so I'll just call him L. And this is the player who practiced a lot with the Undead, but lately Undead isn't really performing good at the high level. The Skeleton Archers have the decent win rate in the low and mid skill level, but at the higher level it is really difficult to play that. And in this game, L decided to switch off to the meta strategy, the more popular styles, such as the Orcs and the Goblins. And Dominator, who usually play Dark Faction actually, and the tournaments and in the engagement and the ladder too. Here he decided to get back to the light, because initially he was starting as a light player, if I remember correctly, or at least was playing the two sides at the same time. So he was mainly playing the elf tech tree, but in this game he decided to opt for the other tech and play dwarf. This is why we see the Dwarven Forge coming up, and at the same time he still goes for his 10 workers build order, but on this map of course he's not gonna get a sawmill, because the trees are so close to the castle that the sawmill wouldn't get any advantage in the beginning of the game. As you probably know, or maybe not, but the sawmill itself doesn't do you any kind of the preference, and it doesn't speed up mining. It's by itself, because even if you level it up outside of the battle, and you can see things like increasing the speed of the wood cutting, but it is already effective, even if you don't have the sawmill on the battlefield right now. So if you leveled it up, it is effective. So you don't really need to build it once the castle is so close, because sawmill only stands as a building where your worker can take off the tree, and that's it. So when this lower wood patch will be cut, he can build a sawmill somewhere else, so that the workers don't have to work all along the map to the castle. But anyways, here we can see Dominator taken up to Baron, which was quite obvious, because he's got Dwarven Forge and the Altar of Heroes, so it was obviously showing us that he was taken up to the Bombardier. And at the same time he's got Sanctuary, so this is the Warsmith Bombardier Healer build order, which Markley, one of the strongest light players, was also trying recently, but he was also saying that that build is mostly good on the smaller maps, and this map is rather big. Road In, I believe it's called, or something like this, and it is a big map, so I'm not sure if the Warsmith are any good on this, because they are not really fast, and for example, you have to make all this way up to the top right corner to get a chest, and it will take quite a few of time, but we'll see. The Warsmith in production, and at the same time, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, L decided to go to Totem of Orcs and the Altar of Heroes indeed, so he's playing the Chieftain and the Wolf Riders, so he's adding a couple of Wolf Riders. There are different ways to play the Orc tech, so he could rather go for the Citadel 3 and straight into the Barracks 2 and into the X-Masters, and this type of playing Dark was popular in the previous patch, and Dominator abused that a lot, but right now X-Masters have way less HP, They also have increased attack range, but it's not good for them as a core unit because they can't really tank anymore. And now we see that Dominator took a decidable decision. I mean, not a very convenient decision, because he decided to start an elemental and chest at the same time, but all of a sudden there was a goon from L on the chest. So goon obviously killed the swordsman because goon is stronger, so he wasn't able to to obtain the chest because Warsmith wasn't quick enough to get up there. And of course Dominator still captured the mana well, but he lost the chest, so he's a little bit behind on resources. At the same time, he's up to Castle 3 and he's getting the second barracks and now the upgrade of the Dwarven Forge, which probably means that he's gonna go to the fast snipers, and that is quite an unusual strategy, because snipers in the beginning of the game are not usually do all too good, because you rather wanna get an advantage on the map, getting the units faster up to the maximum foot, and then you wanna swap a few of them for the snipers in the process of exchanging. So if you go straight to the snipers, it will probably be way too slow, because snipers are not being hired quickly. But anyways, right now what happens is quite an obvious usage of the protection scroll, because it grants units 100% of armor, and since Warsmith are very heavy armored, they get a lot. But L was able to successfully dodge all the time of the scroll when it was affected. So actually he was just running with the Wolf Riders, attacking not the Warsmith but something else, such as the healers and now the Bombardier. And I would rather say that Warsmith wasn't any good in this fight, because they couldn't really fight anyone, because everyone was just running of them. And now L's doing a good job not letting the Bombardier shoot, because this hero can't shoot to the cell in front of him. And now the Wolf Rider is finally dead, but the Baron will have a hard time escaping. But probably Chief is not quick enough. L's gonna tune this a little bit using the sharp thorns, but Chief still wasn't able to make a hit. It is a weird effect that you can actually witness sometimes, because we have a cell system, and that is a bit of a problem for the melee units pursuing each other, because Chief was pursuing the Bombardier, but then a Bombardier was slowed down, and what happens is the cell where Chief was going, it became obtained by the Bombardier, who didn't go further because it was slowed down. So the Chief was like, wait a minute, I can't go there, so I have to find a way around. And it happens that it changed its direction. He changed his direction, and he wasn't able to catch up still. So you rather wanna use this slowing effect with a cavalry, which can go by and keep attacking. And with the melee units, with the slow melee units without a cavalry strike, that slowing effect can make it even worse. So if you try to slow down someone, you can easily spot this effect, now that I explained how it works, and figure it out. But anyways, Dominator added a couple of snipers, so he got this center position. And at the same time, L is taken up to the workshop too. He already got the Goblin Lab too, so apparently gonna add a couple of Rocketeers. And here is the first one. And it seems that L's also gonna take a second base probably, but he doesn't have enough resources right now. And Dominator is just holding the middle position on the map. middle part of the map. The Wolf Rider going down quickly, because snipers are strong units in the amount like this, and apparently amount like this is enough. I think that you don't usually need more than 4 snipers. We used to have strategies in the past where people would go just mass snipers. It wasn't a good time in my opinion, so that's why we don't let snipers make a first hit faster. People also people soon suggest like make the snipers shoot immediately because they are so slow, but probably those players just didn't join the game long time ago, so they didn't witness the old snipers. But anyway, here starts the fight, and L decided to use the Circle of Fire, or rather Ring of Fire it's called, but the snipers didn't go down because Dominator used the Protection Scroll as a counter, but still Chieftain was able to take half of the healers, and at the same time Dominators started adding the Wind Mages, and this first Wind Mage is doing a good job slowing down the Orc units, but otherwise Dominator received a lot of damage. He received all the damage from the Ring of Fire, and also the Rocketeers did a great job, and the X-Masters did a great job, and the Dark units was splitted into the fronts, if you will to call this so. So there was the front lane into the lanes rather. The front lane and the back lane and everything was clearly splitted, and Dominator couldn't really use an attacking scroll because of that, so he just used the protection, but it wasn't enough to survive it good. And now he's down to 70 foot, while L is almost 100 foot up, so 30 up foot, and he's probably gonna even attack the base, but it seems that he's not sure. It doesn't seem convenient enough to him. I'd say that probably he could have taken it down. Obviously he doesn't want to engage into the racial building auras, but if you think about it, the Dwarven Forge doesn't really give you anything because there is no tech, and the Elven Tree is just one building on the front and probably can take it down quickly with your Rocketeers. And there isn't... Alright, here is the Tower of Mana, so you can drop the Rockfall somewhere near the healers, but actually L doesn't have enough mana for that right now. So this is why he's gonna take the left mana well, it seems. So actually he got all the map control he wants. He's gonna get all the objective at the same time. He controls all the watchtowers and the top mana well and also the bottom mana well. And all Dominator can do is to add the new Wind Mages and to regain the snipers, up to 4 again. Or I'm not sure how many he's gonna get and he wants to get. And probably also he's gonna get the third hero, because he built a human monument and he's upgrading the altar. And this is what I would suggest to the other player too, because he's only on the second altar and he could have upgraded this to the third tier as well. And he already got the Undead Obelisk, but this is probably for the Venom Speeders, to be able to add the Venom Speeders. Here is now the first Undead Obelisk, so he's about to upgrade both of those buildings. And the third Goblin Lab for healing and for adding more static, because he got the second base. And this is now the great usage of the advantage that you got on the map. So he's gonna use this advantage and abuse this advantage, if you wanna call it that, because he's just casually adding the second base, a bit of the defensive structures. He's controlling this gold mine to be sure that Dominator's not gonna do the same. And he obtained the 2 mana wells and adding more production. I probably would have liked to see even the second Dark Gate or the third barracks or probably the second workshop. So you really want to go deep into production once you're this up in the mining and the resources bank, because resources are nothing. You can't fight with gold, right? But you need to use it for be able to reproduce army quickly in any RTS, including War Legends. But alright, here comes the fight. Dominator is almost maxed out again, and here comes the Rockfall. Not hitting it too good, but actually the Wind Mages are down to half HP, and Paladin is down to half HP, and also the healers, so Dominator wanna take a break now. But he didn't use any mana in this fight. Alright, I'm not exactly correct. Okay, I am exactly correct, because this wasn't a protection effect, this is the Paladin effect, who is buffing the armor of the nearby units. So here he does. And L is gonna force another fight right now, because he's still maxed out. And his units are a bit stuck, so he probably is about to get a Snowstorm on all the units out there, and the Wind Mages are engaging inside, and L decided to go the Gloom. And that is now a weird decision, because the Gloom isn't really debuffing anyone here. I'm not sure if he probably wanted to apply it on the snipers or what, but when you apply it on the Wind Mages, you almost do them even stronger, because what does the Gloom do is, apart from the resistance debuff, it decreases the attack range. But Wind Mages have a very special attack, because they launch the wind, and the wind still flies for the same amount of cells. So what does a Gloom do to the Wind Mages is that they start to launch their wind from the lower range, so they actually come closer on your army, and that means that they will hit even more of your units with their attack, with their wind that they're launching. So you don't really want to use the Gloom on the Wind Mages unless you are really 100% sure that you really need that protection debuff. But in that position nobody was even able to shoot them, because everyone was frozen. So that wasn't a good call, but probably L was about to use it on the snipers and accidentally tapped on the flying unit, and that would move the scroll to its protection on the ground, and that is the problem that we are probably gonna fix. At least I reported it as a bug a bit of time ago, so I hope that we can find a decision to that. It is a bit a complicated task, to be honest, because it slightly broke the system of how the game and how the interface works in the battle, but it is really annoying, so we need to find a way to fix it. But anyways, even though L lost the previous fight badly, I still think he's fine, because he's got his second base, he still can take back the mana well, and he still reproduced it and maxed out again, and now he's widely split it. And that's why in this position Dominator can't use the Snowstorm, so he has to wait when the Dark Army will somehow come into the closer position, and L on his turn use the Rockfall, but Rockfall is a bit of a random, right? So it didn't work all that good again, so L is not really lucky with his Rockfalls in this battle. And now it seems that the red player is taken, well, at least the lower chest, and probably the upper chest too, and probably even the mana wells, so we can ask ourselves who actually won the previous fight, but probably the answer is none. But L didn't even kill a lot of units, so he literally killed the 2 units, which were the Wind Mage and the Sniper, who already reinforced. This is the Sniper, and L lost a lot more, but he has everything hiring, everything ordered from his production tab, so he keeps reinforcing using the restoration scroll, and he's gonna be maxed out again, but I really want him to stop using that gloom where he doesn't have to, and to use something fancy, probably the Ring of Fire, or try the Rockfall once again, because he's again up to 2 wells until this moment where Prince is gonna steal the lower one, the left one, but Dominator is losing a couple more seconds, but Dominator is already maxed out on mana, so he's fine still. Probably L can open this fight taking down 1 Wind Mage, and this will be awesome, but what is not awesome is that all this army is being caught with the Snowstorm again, and even though L's been using to drop a perfect Ring of Fire on the light units, he didn't have anyone to finish him off, so he has to retreat now, because he lost all of his units again, and even the Chieftain, and now Dominator has a total control on the battlefield, and that is a bit of a problem, and those X-Masters are not able to retreat even, but well, Hera, couple, and also the Venom Speeders, so L has something to fight these flying nightmares, such as the Wind Mage. He also has Aeronauts and adding more to be able to fight the Wind Mages. So he has a perfect anti-air composition, but he has to have something against snipers too, and I still think that he should have got the Eater, and he even got the 3rd altar, but it seems that he forgot this at some point, and now he's very low on wood, but it seems that L wasn't able to manage this on time. He's starting the fight from the distance if he can, so he just sees if he can, taking down 1 Wind Mage, not letting snipers to start shooting, using the Necromancer to get Skeleton, to get the hits instead of the real units, so that is a nice thing to do. And 1 more Snowstorm, a terrible Snowstorm for the dark and a perfect for the light, and 1 more Gloom, and this time around it even works, but this sniper's still shooting. Those snipers will have to move closer though, but not really a great Gloom still, because it cost 150 mana, and honestly, I must admit it that I don't really feel why and when you need this scroll, because it is way too expensive, and in each and every situation I can imagine a better scroll for 150. In this particular situation I would in no time opt for the Ring of Fire, for example, to deal the damage. Maybe the Rockfall if there is enough mana, maybe even the high ring acceleration to get the heroes quicker, but I'm not sure about the Gloom. Probably we have to buff this scroll, or maybe you guys have the situations where you were able to apply it efficiently. I'm not sure I even witnessed one for now, so I'm really curious how to use this one, and it seems that L was about to try it in this game, but we must admit it that it wasn't successful. And what for Dominator, he made a perfect comeback with the Snowfall indeed, and the Snowfall plus the Wind Mages are a perfect combination which works so good that I'm not sure, but probably we should even remove the damage that it is. But probably not, we're gonna consider it, of course. And at the same time, here is the little nice feature of the Undead Obelisk, because it reproduced the Venom Spectre for free. But anyways, it won't help the L in this game, so L is gonna tap out any second. And even the second base, well, he could have got more production if he would use those slaves to cut wood instead of mining gold, but that is not what came on top in this game, because Dominator won because the better usage of the scrolls, and are the scrolls balanced right now is a subject to think, so you can share your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching. I'll wrap it up here, so I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye bye.